Hey, what's up guys? Welcome. Kalijyx here, and today we're going to be, of course, reviewing episode 79 of Attack on Titan, Memories of the Future. And this week I'm going to be kind of reacting to the episode. I'm going to be watching it for the first time as I record this, because why not? Alright, I'm not going to spend a lot of time rambling this time, but I do have to warn you that this video is going to contain anime spoilers and probably manga spoilers towards the end, which I will be sure to give you a warning before I start getting into manga spoilers for anybody who's anime only out there. But anyway, if you haven't watched the latest episode of Attack on Titan, what are you doing with your life? Seriously, if you don't want spoilers, you might want to click on something else. But if you're all caught up, then let's get to it. Okay, so we started the episode, we're kind of looking over Shiganshina, and there's a baby. There's a baby in this episode. Oh, it's Eren. It's little baby Eren. Oh man. There's Zeke and Eren. So they're watching young Grisha with newborn baby Eren. Grisha kind of, he doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. But yeah, it looks like we're just kind of thrown into this sequence. I can't remember if there was much of a segue in the manga, but so Eren confirms that these are Grisha, their father's memories. And Zeke is like, he sure looks happy. Which I'm sure is not quite, well, we know, not quite the same Grisha that Zeke remembers. Zeke was growing up with Grisha. Grisha was very focused more on training Zeke to become a warrior and having him play this role with the restorationists. But of course, in Eren's case, that wasn't a thing. Grisha is more relaxed, I guess. He still has a mission. But he kind of learned from his mistakes, I guess, which having your son report you to the authorities is a pretty big lesson, I guess. and Zeke obviously kind of blames Grisha for everything, saying he cast his previous family and friends into hell, that is. So what right does he have to be happy? And Eren asks Zeke why he's showing him this, and Zeke's like, I want you to understand, like, how Grisha brainwashed you into these nationalistic ideals, and of course, as we know, that's exactly what Grisha did to Zeke, so I guess he's kind of presuming that Grisha did the same to Eren, because why wouldn't he, right? I love how worried and clueless Grisha looks. Like, you've had a kid before, why are you freaking out? Oh well. I don't know, maybe it's an act, maybe he's trying to pretend that this is his first baby, so Carla doesn't get suspicious. So then Zeke turns to leave, and he's like, good for you, Grisha. You get to live out a happy life here, and nobody knows who you are or what you did, and what you did to your first family, and you suck, Grisha. Then he comments about Grisha forgetting about him, and there's definitely a lot of bitterness there. Maybe even a little jealousy towards Eren as well. We see Eren kind of stop and look back at Grisha before he leaves, and oh, Eren is so adorable when he's a baby, my god. Look at that. So Zeke seems to be just going through memories like the ghost of Christmas past. And he's talking about how Grisha used his job as a doctor to gain power. And it looks like Grisha might be treating one of the rich nobles who live within Walsina, I'm guessing. And Zeke's like, he's doing this so that he can find the king and steal the founding titan. That's all he's interested in doing. What I find kind of funny about this moment right here is when Eren turns to look at Zeke, he's not really looking at Zeke, he's kind of looking, like, off into the distance almost, it looks like. I don't know if this is an animation error, or if it's just to show that Eren really doesn't care about what Zeke has to say. He's just like, whatever. Like, let's just get this over with. Will Zeke convince Eren? Will he turn him down the right path? At least what Zeke thinks is right? We shall see. And then in the next scene, it almost looks like Eren is kind of smirking. Again, not sure if this is intentional, but interesting nonetheless. And then Zeke says if Grisha ever made a mistake, his wife and son would suffer. Just like I guess what could have happened to Zeke if he hadn't reported his parents, because of how things work in Marley, because they were onto Grisha, and Zeke kind of saved himself with the encouragement of that other guy. I can't remember his name now. The guy he played baseball with kind of became his adopted father, I guess. So Zeke's just looking at everything from his own perspective and his own experience. He can't fathom the idea that Eren had at all a different experience from him. And then Zeke's like, but he keeps persisting. Do you know why, Aaron? And Aaron's like, because he's an asshole. And he says he would definitely sacrifice his family to restore Eldia at any moment. And I don't know if Aaron's just kind of saying what he thinks Zeke wants to hear. He's already told him he's not really on his side, so I don't know. Zeke did kind of throw Aaron into the fold when he gave him the founding titan, so, and kind of put that responsibility on him, but if I remember right, things are a little bit more complicated than that, which we will probably, I think, we're gonna see in this episode, so let's continue. He's like, I get it now. I was wrong. I never should have been born. I am no longer brainwashed. Well, that was easy, but maybe Zeke isn't convinced because he's like, you know, time kind of stops here, so let's just keep looking at more memories because I'm not sure if you're telling me the truth, Aaron. So we see more flashes of memories. We see Aaron and Grisha and Carla eating at the dinner table. Aaron's still a little baby. We see Grisha. This is kind of funny. See Grisha interacting with Hannes, who is clearly drunk, and he's like sort of handing baby Aaron a bottle of wine or something, and just letting him kind of like touch it and play with it. He's like, look, kid, alcohol. That's funny. Okay, interesting way to entertain toddlers, but anyway. So then we see Grisha in a bedroom, and he pulls some papers out of a drawer. There's someone laying in the bed, and Aaron's kind of looking down at them. I think it looks like that person's probably dead. It looks like the same person Grisha was treating before. I'm not sure if this guy is somebody we've seen before. He probably is, knowing Attack on Titan. Probably seen this guy somewhere. Zeke appears to be watching Grisha. Wonder what Grisha's pulling out of that drawer there. Probably trying to find information on where the founding titan is, I'm guessing. So after that we actually see Kenny, a young Kenny. It's nice to see Kenny again. Kenny was definitely a very interesting character. And he's part of the military police, or was it the military police, or he became part of some kind of elite like group of, maybe it was private bodyguards or something. I can't quite remember. So Grisha's leaving. He looks unhappy. He looks a little stressed out. Ooh, now we're at the church. Oh man. Aaron recognizes it, and this is not the time where Grisha actually killed them. This is way before that, and Aaron's really surprised. He's like, he found it this soon? What the heck's going on? And Zeke's like, what is this place? And Aaron explains to him that this is the King of the Wall's hideout. This is where he is. Grisha found him. Grisha found the founding titan. Zeke's like, there's no way. Zeke's like, Grisha stole the founding titan the day the walls fell. That's years from now. And you can see Grisha, he's opening up this trap door, and he's sweating, and he's really struggling right now. And we see that Grisha can't do it. He walks away. He comes home to his family and hugs his son. Aww. And this is a cool scene right here. We see a little Aaron. He's looking up. It definitely seems like he can see them. Like, it looked like that in the manga, and it definitely looks like he can see them here, which is interesting. I don't know if that's ever really explained. And as Zeke is watching this, he's kind of dumbfounded as he is remembering his father and how he acted towards him, and the kind of indifference he had towards him, and how he really didn't show him much love. He didn't really put him first at all. But he's seeing him act this way towards Aaron, and it's just like blowing his mind. Like, this is not the father I knew. And then I think they're in the basement, and Zeke's like, so he loved his second son enough to delay his restoration mission. Good for you, Aaron. And then he's like, that's completely different of what he did to me. Guess he learned from his mistakes. And then he's like, however, you, Aaron, did exactly what he wanted you to do. And Aaron's given Zeke this look. This look is very creepy. It's like, you think so? You think so, Zeke? We will find out. He's like, he said something along the lines of like, the Aaron, the true Aaron, the real Aaron is gone, replaced by this person that Grisha wanted him to be, I guess. And Aaron looks down and he sees the picture of Grisha and Dinah and Zeke, their family picture. The picture that he finds in the basement last season. That kind of reveals the truth about the world and that there's other people out there. That pivotal image. And Grisha, he's like asleep. lying on his desk, and he starts mumbling in his sleep, and he says, I'm sorry, Zeke. Whoa. He stands up, he can see Zeke. He's like, is that you? And everybody's like shocked. And Grisha sits down, and he's like, that's just silly. Some old bearded man can't possibly be Zeke. I'm obviously dreaming. So Zeke's just shocked, and then it looks like Aaron's gonna kind of take the reins now. He opens the door, and he's like, next memory, Zeke, let's go. Now I have some things to show you. And then we finally get the opening sequence. Wow, 5.5 minutes in. That was a long opening. Coming for you! I'm singing to the song. Alright, so we're back to the episode. We see Aaron and Armin as kids. And Zeke's like, at this point, you're 9 years old. So they're at the age that they were when the whole story began in the first season. It's interesting to see Mappa draw them as kids, because we haven't seen this yet. Except for, like, the opening, of course. And, like I mentioned in the first episode review, even though the animation's different, the line style especially is very different. It's a bit grittier, it's not as smooth, all the lines are kind of the same width. Wit Studios had a lot of variation in the width of their lines. You see a lot of parts that are thicker than other parts and stuff like that. So it's interesting to kind of see Mappa draw them as kids now, because you can kind of see more of the comparison and how different it is. Another thing I think is interesting about Mappa's animation is like the shading on the skin. Like, it has the normal cell shading, but then it also has this kind of slightly darker shading around, like, along the outer parts of the skin, if you know what I mean. So that's interesting. I wonder how they accomplished that. It seems like that would be hard to animate. Probably CGI, kind of like how they did in Klaus. Have you ever seen Klaus? It's that Christmas movie about the postman. It's like a 2D animated movie, but they used CGI to like color and shade everything. So it has a kind of like a soft feel to it, and almost looks a little bit 3D. It's interesting. Really cool style, but anyway, I digress. So we see Armin is waving at Grisha. Aaron kind of looks over at him, and Grisha's waving back. And Zeke's like, Grisha loved you. He let you grow up freely. You're looking a little green there, Zeke. Just seething with envy. Not that anyone could blame him, right? To be fair, it was really unfair to Zeke. Grisha was really unfair to Zeke. Like, this whole situation. Zeke had a tough life. Although, I don't know, I might argue that Aaron had it worse. Which... so yeah, let's continue. So Zeke is kind of like, I can't believe you were never brainwashed by him. And Aaron was like, well, I told you this was pointless. Before we wandered for years in his memory, so they've been in here for years, apparently. They've been walking around Grisha's memories for a long time. And again, all of this is happening in an instant in the real world. No time has actually passed. But for them, years have passed as they've been kind of going through Grisha's memories and learning about his life and dissecting everything. Huh. That's pretty wild. Do you think they're tired? I'd be tired. I guess you wouldn't get tired if you were just, like, not really physically there. You're just your consciousness going through memories. I imagine they don't have to sleep or eat or go to the bathroom or anything like that. So then Zeke asks Aaron why he would betray him then. He's like, our father didn't tell you anything, but then he forced you to inherit a Titan, yet you're doing exactly what he wanted you to do. He's like, don't you want to end this conflict? Like, what are you planning to do with the Founder's power? Ooh, I really love this shot right here of Aaron's eyes. Like, there's a lot of detail in the iris of his eyes. Looks really nice. And then Aaron's like, I am who I've always been, since the moment I was born. I haven't changed. And it shows an image of Aaron as a baby, with Grisha holding him. It shows a bird. Of course, birds are symbolic of freedom. And then it shows the moment that Grisha finds Aaron after killing those guys when he was 9 years old to save Mikasa. And I'm going to go ahead and make a note of this scene because I want to talk about this a bit later on when we get into manga spoilers. So Zeke is seeing this for the first time. I'm sure he's shocked. He looks shocked. And Aaron is like, you thought we were the same, but you're wrong. And, ooh, this is a line. Rather than letting someone steal my freedom, I'll steal theirs first. I'll come back to that too. And he's like, you know, my father, our father, didn't make me like that. I have always been this way. Yup. You've always been a crazy bastard, huh, Aaron? And Zeke's like, since you were born? And Aaron's like, you won't find the pathetic little brother you were hoping for in me. Oh. Burn, Zeke. It's true, Zeke really misjudged Aaron. He made a lot of assumptions about Aaron. I guess just because he was younger than him, and just because he assumed that Grisha was the same with Aaron as he was with Zeke. Which, again, to Zeke's credit, his intentions were good. He really wanted to save Aaron from what he thought was probably happening in his life with Grisha. He wanted to save Aaron from the pain that he had to feel being raised by Grisha in that situation. Because that's all that he experienced, so he just assumed that Grisha was this cold-hearted person who just wanted to use his children to attain his own goals. So, and again, nobody can really blame him for that. I mean, why would he think any differently, you know? He was a child, and what Grisha put him through affected him for the rest of his life. So, God, how is Isayama able to write such compelling, interesting characters who do such terrible things, and yet you just can't help but feel sympathy for them, you know? It's crazy. I love it. I could only dream of writing characters like this. Anyway. And then Aaron's like, nor a convenient little brother to share your emotional scars with. Yeah, that's another thing. I definitely think Zeke wanted someone who got it, who understood, who's been through the same thing, to help him kind of get through it. Nope, not happening. Not with Aaron. So Zeke starts walking away, and Eric kind of looks at him, and he's like, all I see from you is somebody who can't accept himself until he destroys his father's wish to restore Eldia. That's an interesting point. That seems to be Zeke's whole mission in life, is to just go against Grisha. He says he wants to do it to stop all the conflict, stop the war, stop people from suffering, but really, I think deep down, it all stems from this vendetta against Grisha, really. That makes sense to me. And Aaron's like, you're just a pathetic man. You're the pathetic one, Zeke. Haunted by his dead father. And Zeke said, well, in that case, I'm grateful to my father. He opened my eyes so I can save the world from Eldia. And wow, I'm not even halfway through this episode. I feel like I've been talking so much. There's a lot of dialogue in this episode. A lot going on. So then Aaron kind of stops, and he's looking at himself and Mikasa, in that moment that he gives her the scarf. So then they're back in Grisha's, doctor's office, and he's examining some children. Zeke's telling Aaron, look, I've got the Founder's Titan power. I can use it at any time to carry out the euthanization plan, but I don't want to abandon you. Just like Mr. Xaver did for me. Xaver, that's his name. That's interesting. Xaver, Savior. He was kind of Zeke's savior, I guess. Is that intentional? I don't know. Anyway, so I guess they're just kind of following Grisha around. Zeke sees a father playing ball with his son, and he says to Aaron, before I save the world, I want to save you. So then we're back in the basement again. Grisha's writing something. He's writing, humanity has not perished, and Zeke is behind him reading it out loud. He's like, those are some heavy words to leave behind. And Grisha puts the picture in the book that, again, Aaron discovers in the basement in the third season, the end of the third season. And you can see in Grisha's face, he's visibly sad. He definitely misses Zeke and Dinah. He definitely feels bad about what he did, what he caused to happen. And Zeke, I think, is seeing this as well. So Grisha puts the book in the secret drawer and locks it. And then we see the key, the famous basement key, which I am realizing right now is a little different looking than the basement key necklaces that they produce, because I've got one and I'm looking at it right now and it's not quite the same. I feel ripped off. Anyway, so interestingly, as Grisha's looking at the key, he appears to look up, and Aaron's looking at him, and he seems to see Aaron for a second again as well, but then it cuts off. Doesn't really make it clear whether he does or not. Then we cut to the moment when Aaron and Mikasa return home from gathering wood that we first saw in the first season, in the first episode. Aaron comes in and says that we're home. And this is interesting because Mappa's like completely reanimating this entire scene. Like, exactly. I remember this very clearly. I mean, they could have reused Wit Studios footage, but I guess that would kind of look a little out of place, I guess, with the differing animation styles. Which, interestingly enough, though, they don't seem to have that slightly darker tone around the skin that I was talking about earlier in this scene. Maybe a little bit, but I don't really see it. Yeah, I guess they wouldn't be able to reuse the footage since they have to draw Aaron and Zeke into the scene, so... I wonder if they would even be allowed to. I wonder if they use the same dialogue recordings, or if they re-recorded it for this scene. I can't really tell. I'd probably be able to tell if I'd, watched the show in English, but I'm not gonna do that. Anyway. So yeah, this is the scene where they get home, they're eating, Grisha's getting ready to go to do his checkups in the interior, so he's gonna be gone a couple days. And Mikasa tells them that Aaron wants to join the scout regiment, and Carly gets all mad and starts lecturing him about how dangerous it is. And Grisha asks him why he wants to go outside the walls, and we can see Grisha and adult Aaron both staring very intensely at his younger self, as little Aaron is saying, I want to know what's outside, I don't want to know what it's like out there. And if no one else is willing to take the place of the people who died, then their deaths will be in vain. A lot of conviction this little 9-year-old has. So we see a close-up of Grisha's eye, which now with the context of everything that has happened, everything we now know about Grisha, this is obviously a big moment for Grisha. He doesn't want to do to Aaron what he did to Zeke, but at the same time, there is a part of him that wants Aaron to feel this way, I guess, to want to be free, to fight against the oppression that they've been subjected to. Which, of course, it's a bit different here on Paradis. It's not quite the same as it is in Marley. Because in Marley, people are clearly being oppressed by other people. Eldians are being oppressed by Marleyans, and as well as in other countries, Eldians are second-class citizens everywhere because of their ability to turn into Titans. Here, of course, it's humans being oppressed by Titans, which the majority of them don't know that the Titans are actually humans and that they're there intentionally. They have a purpose to keep Eldians inside the walls. They don't understand anything about why they exist, why the walls exist, and it's so interesting to go back and watch episodes from season 1 and season 2, how clueless everybody is. That's one thing I really love to do, is when you watch a show or a movie that has so many different layers of things that are revealed and twists and turns and stuff, and then you go back and you can see all of the clues, all of the breadcrumbs that were laid down for you. It's really a lot of fun. So then Zeke tells them he has to go, his boat's about to leave, and Carla's begging him to talk some sense into Aaron. He turns around and tells her, of course, that doesn't matter what he says, it's not going to be able to change how Aaron feels. You can't stifle human curiosity. Oh, that was Wit right there. That was a Wit Studios clip. I don't know why they did that. That's interesting. You can see it starts out as Mappa, but then it changes. I think, oh no, the whole scene is Wit. Yeah, I'm just kind of clicking through it. So yeah, you can see by the varying lines, there's a smoothness to the animation, like the color. That's definitely a Wit Studios right there. So that's interesting. I guess they were able to reuse some footage. It would have been... I could see why they could use... This is so quick, it's kind of hard to notice. If they had just tried to, draw Aaron and Zeke, like I said, into a scene that was animated by Wit Studios, it would be a little too obvious, I think, that it was two different styles of animation. Yeah, this clip is definitely from Wit, right here. Yeah, so that moment that he pulls the key out of his coat, that's Wit. That's what I'm talking... I don't think I mentioned it. That's from Wit Studios right there. So then we get the scene where he's holding the key, and you see little Aaron, he's all excited. And Aaron, adult Aaron, is standing in the doorway, and it looks like Grisha's looking directly at adult Aaron. He's saying the same lines. When I get back, I'll show you what's in the basement, all the secrets I've kept all this time. So then we get these moments where we get a close-up of Grisha's eyes, then we get a close-up of adult Aaron's eyes staring at each other. There's another moment by Wit right there Grisha holding the key. It looks like they maybe put a filter on it to kind of rough out the edges of the line work a little bit. Maybe to make it blend a little more. Or maybe it was always like that, I don't know. And I just rewatched the first season too. I just remember with studios, the line work being like really smooth, you know? It wasn't really grainy like Mappa's is. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't be surprised if they added a little something to it to make it blend a bit more. Oh my gosh, that scared me. Okay. Jesus. Okay, I gotta back that up. I paused it right on Grisha's freaking giant eyes, and that was a little terrifying. But then, okay, so you see Grisha, he's walking away from the house, and you can see in his eyes, he looks absolutely terrified. And it cuts to a scene, it's dusk, a bunch of birds are flying over Grisha's head, and of course we know that right after he leaves, or shortly after, that's when the walls are attacked, and he goes directly to the church, the King of the Walls hideout. He goes down to the cave, and you see Freda and the rest of the royal family standing there, and he says, I am an Eldian that came outside the walls, I'm a subject of Ymir just like you, and he starts begging the King of the Walls, who's inside Freda, to stop the Titans, to protect everybody. He's like, my wife and children are there, they're going to die, people are going to get eaten, like, please kill the Titans, do something about this. So Freda's looking at him, and she has this pained look on her face, and she closes her eyes for a second, and you'll notice that her eyes are blue, but when she opens them, they're purple. And this seems to be a sign of the king kind of taking over the mind of the holder of the founding titan, because we see this with Yuri as well, I think, when he's kind of talking as the King of the Walls, when we've seen him in scenes before with like Kenny and everything. I forgot that Kenny and Yuri were like friends. So then Freda says, we can't escape our sins. Judgment Day has come for the subjects of Ymir. Oh man. And she says something interesting. She's like, when it comes to great power, people are weak. I realized something from the Great Titan War. You mustn't allow the power of the Titans to fall into people's hands. And she says, if the power of the Titans fall into weak hands, the world shall become hell. We'll come back to that and we'll talk about it a little more in this video. And she says, to save the world, we must accept our sins and welcome our ruin. And Zeke's like, I agree. I like this girl. She and I, we see eye to eye. This is okay. And then Zeke says, but I remember you telling me that this whole family is slaughtered by Grisha, and you saw this memory and were disgusted by it. He says to Aaron, ooh. So Zeke asks Aaron if it was a lie, and then like he looks at him and he's like, he gasps and he's like shocked, and then it goes to Aaron, and Aaron's got this intense look on his face. He's, ooh, something's going on here. And Grisha's begging Freda, he's like, my house is right next to the gate. Me, my wife, my son, my daughter, we live there. And he's like, the people of the walls don't know about the sins of their ancestors. You erased all their memories. This isn't fair. And he's like, do you really think this is atonement? And then Freda's basically like, no, actually, it's not enough. There's nothing that we can ever do, no sacrifices we can ever make that will make up for all of the things that ancient Eldians did all those centuries ago. All the lives they took, which is kind of a backwards way of thinking. Just a little bit. Then she's like, all we can really do is prevent Eldians from taking more lives in the future outside the walls. She says we can just stay ignorant and accept the world's hatred of us, and then we're the only ones who need to die. Basically willing to sacrifice all of Paradis to save everyone else. Which Aaron is obviously not happy about, just by looking at his very angry face. And Grisha is not happy about that either. Holy crap. Okay. Ooh, Aaron's getting scary. So Grisha's eyes shift over towards Aaron, and he kind of looks over at him, and then we see Aaron's eyes, and we hear, I guess the only way to describe it is a rumbling sound. And Aaron's getting pretty intense over here. So Freda's like, it's pointless to try to persuade me. Even if you steal the Founding Titan from me, you can't do anything with it. And then Grisha's like, I know I can't use the Founding Titan's power, I don't care about that. And then he starts talking about the 9 Titans and how they all have different traits, and then he announces that he is in possession of the Attack Titan, which of course he received from Kruger, along with Kruger's mission So this is an interesting line. So Grisha says, for ages, the inheritors of the Attack Titan have never bowed to anyone. The Attack Titan is always acting on its own. It never doesn't answer to anyone. It makes me wonder, like, because all the Titans in Marley, they're part of the Marleyan military. I guess they couldn't really do that with the Attack Titan, though. I don't think it ever talks about who had the Titan before Kruger did. So, and obviously, Kruger was a rebel. He wasn't part of the warriors. He obtained the Attack Titan somehow in secret and pretended to be a Marleyan soldier, but he was actually an Eldian, and he was holding on to the Attack Titan power for who knows how long. And then Grisha's like, he kind of surmises that the purpose of the Attack Titan is to fight the king's self-righteousness, or something like that. I guess the Attack Titan is there to keep the king in check, or to challenge the king, make sure that if the king doesn't abuse their power. I don't know. I'm not really quite sure what that means. And then Grisha says we're all led by our memories, all for this moment. That's also interesting. And we see Eren walk by him in the background. He appears to be approaching Freyda. So then Grisha says that the Attack Titan can glimpse into the memories of its future inheritors, which is another thing I'm gonna come back to later on in this video. So in some way, it's able to know the future. So Zeke is kind of shocked by this. He's like, know the future? What does that mean, Eren? And I guess Freyda, or the King of the Walls, is kind of surprised by this too, and said that they've never heard about this. They don't know about this, which is weird. You'd think that they would know everything about the Titan shifters, but I guess not. So then Grisha says he knew that the King of the Walls didn't know that, which I guess makes sense because the King of the Walls came to Paradis just with the founding Titan. Who knows how much he originally knew about the Titans when he decided to come to Paradis. And he's like, well, since you're bound by the vow renouncing war, you can't fully use the founding Titan's power either. And he's like, I'm gonna eat the founder and end the royal bloodline. Hurrah! And he says the future is already decided. So Freyda tells the others to run, and they start running away. But then Grisha drops the scalpel he was gonna use to stab himself with to turn into a Titan. And he just kind of falls to his knees. He says, I can't do it. Can't kill children. I'm a doctor. I save lives. God, I remember reading this in the manga. This was so surprising. I was not expecting this at all, and it's gonna get even crazier. So Zeke's like, this is impossible. Grisha's supposed to take the founder and slaughter this family. What is happening right now? And Zeke says the past can't just change. So then we see Rod Rice. He's yelling at Freyda. He's like, what are you doing? Hurry up and kill him. The founder is unmatched. You'll definitely be able to kill him. Is this a Wit Studios scene here too? Because I see some thicker lines around his hand. Not his face though. Interesting. So they're all begging Freyda to kill Grisha. You have to do it, you have to protect us, you have to stop him. So Freyda gets ready to turn into a Titan so she can eat him. And then we see Eren standing over Grisha. And he starts talking to him. He's like, what are you doing? Stand up, Dad. And Grisha's hearing him, and he looks up a little bit. Eren puts his hand on his shoulder and kneels down, and he's like, did you forget what you came here to do? And Eren's got those intense eyes again. They're drawn kind of with a light kind of outline to really emphasize the intensity. And Eren's like, you're here to avenge your little sister eaten by dogs. Can't forget about little sis. And Eren's literally like shoving his forehead into Grisha's scalp. And he's like, you're doing this for your comrades, for Dinah, for Kruger. You have to avenge them. And we get this very intense scene of their faces kind of smashed together. It's like Eren's just, his eyes are just staring into Grisha's soul right now. And Eren says, gotta remember this line. You keep moving forward, even if you die, even after you die. Whoa. And he says, aren't you the one who started this story? Because of course, Grisha was the one who decided to go outside the walls in Marley to see this blimp with his sister, and ended up getting her killed. And this is this moment when Grisha starts screaming, and that is a pretty terrifying looking. And then the screen kind of flashes with everybody's faces. Eren's looking pretty creepy too. His eyes are kind of glowing. He has this very determined look on his face. He looks very angry. So then we see Grisha take the scalpel and he stabs himself. and then it goes black. We see a hand come down, and another hand reaches up and takes it. And the hand on top is Historia's hand, and this is the moment when Aaron takes her hand and kisses her hand when she becomes queen. Of course, if you remember, I'm sure everybody does. When that happened, Aaron, he kind of froze, and he had this horrified look on his face, and he wouldn't let go of Historia's hand, but we were never really shown what he saw, what was going on with him in that moment. But now, I think we're about to. So then it cuts back to the scene in the cave, and we see all these dead bodies. There's blood everywhere. We see Aaron and Zeke, and Aaron's kind of looking down at them with this kind of somber, kind of almost emotionless. He looks a little sad. There's probably a mix of emotions going on within Aaron, because I'm sure he does not feel good about this. I'm sure there's a part of him that feels sorry about this happening. Of course, he didn't want to do this, but he felt like he had to. He had to push Grisha into doing that, and which the whole Aaron kind of talking to Grisha through Grisha's memories and influencing him to do things is something that really boggles my mind. Like, I had a lot of trouble trying to explain it when it happened in the manga, and I still am not sure quite what to make of it. What does that mean? You know, the Attack Titan is able to influence the actions of people from the future, right? What? So, I don't know how that's possible, but apparently it is. So Zeke's looking at Aaron, and he's just blown away. This is not what he was expecting at all. His whole world's just coming down, like, his reality has been shattered. So we see the church is destroyed. Grisha's Titan is laying on the ground. He's just come out of it, and he's walking away, and he's all disheveled. He's kind of limping. He's exhausted. He is mentally, like, you can see he's just like out of his mind right now. And he starts shouting to the wind. He's like, I did it, I killed them all, even the kids, with my own hands. He's like losing his mind, and he's shouting. He's shouting at Aaron. He's like, Aaron, I killed the Reese family, all but their father. This is a pretty intense scene, and I like how it kind of jump cuts here and there to kind of show that he's out here for a while. He's losing his shit a little bit, and he's kind of going crazy with what he just did. And he asks Aaron, are you happy now? I did what you wanted, you crazy bastard. Will Eldia really be saved because of this? Is this really what I had to do? Why won't you show me everything? Why won't you just tell me? And Grisha, he kind of looks like Kruger right here, which is interesting. It's like the wall being destroyed the day it happens. If Carla is safe, was this really the only way? And then he's like, you're there, aren't you, Zeke? Zeke's surprised. And Grisha tells him, from here on, things won't go your way. Only Aaron will get what he wants. Oh man. Grisha's like, I saw Aaron's memories. I know what comes next. He's like, but I never imagined it would be so terrible. Which makes me wonder. This is something I'm going to come back to as well. I've got a lot of notes this time. Holy crap. Okay. So Grisha looks up again, and he says, Zeke, is that you? So, of course, this happened earlier, but he didn't believe it was really him. He thought he was dreaming. I guess now he does realize that Zeke is really there. Maybe because at this point, he has been visited by Aaron, and he knows that this is a thing that can happen, which is so interesting. Okay, so here this is. I was hoping we would get this scene. So he says, is that you? You've grown so much. I'm sorry I was a terrible father. He says, I was so cruel to you. And then he hugs Zeke, and he tells him he loves him. Aww, he's just sobbing. It's like, I wish I would have spent more time with you. This is so sad. Aww, I'm sad. And Zeke starts crying too. He's like, Father. This is a big moment for Zeke, of course. Because all he ever wanted was to be loved by his father, and I think having the acknowledgement from Grisha of how he wronged him is really important for Zeke. So he can stop carrying this burden of hatred for Grisha. You know, he knows now how much Grisha regretted what he did, and that he really did love him, and he really wished that he would have been more of a father to him. But then this touching moment is interrupted by Grisha telling Zeke, you need to stop Aaron. Like, there's bigger things at play here. And Aaron's face is kind of covered by this shadow. Ooh. Well, that scared me a little bit. I had it paused on Aaron's shadowy face, and then I unpaused it, and boom, there's Aaron's face when he was younger, looking very, very intense. Kind of almost the same expression he had earlier when he told Grisha to kill the Reese family. They come out of Grisha's memories. Zeke is kind of thrown down onto the ground. He looks up at Aaron, and Aaron is looking down at him. He's got these chains kind of holding him down. And then the episode ends. Whew! What a wild ride. Let's check out the preview real quick. Oh man, so the next one is going to be called From You 2,000 Years Ago, which of course is a callback to the first episode. See a lot of images of Ymir, we see an image of Historia, Aaron trying to break the chains at least. So, wow, that was a great episode. That was crazy. There's so much to unpack. This video is gonna be long, if it isn't already. So before I get into manga stuff and spoilers, I think that has to be my favorite episode so far of this current season, the second half of this season. Yeah, I mean, the action, like I've said this before, the action in Attack on Titan is great. It's a lot of fun to watch, but I'm a lot more interested in plot-driven, character-driven, dialogue-heavy episodes, backstory stuff, where you're learning a lot of stuff about the characters and the plot and the world of the story. That's the kind of stuff I'm into, so I really enjoyed this episode. It's taking me 2.5 hours so far to record this, but part of that is because people kept making noise. So still, usually takes me 1 hour to record through the episode, and maybe also because I was like kind of reacting to it at the same time. I don't know, but a lot of stuff happened in this episode, a lot of stuff to dig through. I don't really know how to do that without getting into manga spoilers, so, but I'm sure the anime-only people who watch this have got a lot of questions. A lot of things are probably going through your head right now. Like, why on earth Grisha was able to see Aaron and Zeke, why little baby Aaron was able to see Aaron and Zeke, why Aaron was able to interact with Grisha through these memories to influence him, apparently, and get him to kill the Reese family, to show him what's gonna happen, tell him what's gonna happen. Why would Grisha go along with what Aaron wanted him to do and then turn around and tell Zeke to stop him? So many questions. So many questions. But anyway, I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. We're going to dig really deep into this. So for those of you who are anime only, who don't want spoilers, I'm going to say farewell. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like. Subscribe if you want to see more. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss them. And if you made it this far, let me know in the comments. I'm going to try this just to see if anybody will actually do it. If you made it this far, let me know by commenting this quote from Aaron. "You keep moving forward, even when you die, even after you die." I know it's kind of long. Usually people only use like one word or something, but you know what? I love that quote. So I think that would be cool to see people saying that in the comments. I don't know. Just having fun over here. Okay, so now we are going to move forward into some manga spoiler territory. So if you don't want manga spoilers, it's time to click off the video, because we're going to start talking about them right now. Alright guys, got my notes here, and there's a lot of them. We have a lot of stuff to go through this time, so as usual, let's go ahead and we'll go through some of these bullet points I wrote down as I was watching the episode, and then we'll discuss further. So the first thing I want to talk about is, we see in this episode the scene where Aaron and Zeke, they see the memory of Aaron killing those men who kidnapped Mikasa to save her. And during this scene, Aaron is telling Zeke that he hasn't changed, that he's always been this way. And it's so interesting because, like, while the manga was going on, when all of this was happening, and I'm sure now with the anime and stuff, among the anime-only people, it's been discussed a lot about how much Aaron has changed. But in this scene, Aaron is claiming he hasn't changed at all. That this has always been who he is. This has always been the path that he's been on, I guess. And yeah, when you think about this scene, the way Aaron was just able to kill these adult men at 9 years old, that definitely says a lot about Aaron. Like, when I watched this scene during the first season, for a long time, it just seemed kind of extreme. But now, like, knowing what Aaron eventually does, this is a major piece of foreshadowing, obviously, because it shows that Aaron has always been capable of killing without really thinking about it, or at least killing people that he feels like he needs to in order to protect others. Again, when I first saw this scene, like, there's no way that we could have known what this meant, what context this was going to be in eventually. Like, it seemed like maybe this was just here for shock value or something, or just to be crazy. But, like, it's actually hugely significant. And yeah, it definitely shows if Aaron was able to do this at such a young age, then he has always had this in him ever since he was born. He's always had, like I said in the last video, a propensity for violence, for killing, which is really scary. But I mean, I guess at least he's doing it for the right reasons, at least in his mind. I mean, again, it's really hard for me to get behind somebody who decides to kill 80% of humans, along with, like, the environment and the wildlife in all these areas and stuff like that. I've seen some people comparing Aaron to the Joker in the movie Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix movie, which I can totally see that. They're both just, like, lords of chaos, but but it's just really interesting. And I put a poll up on my community tab just out of curiosity. Again, I'm not going to get too much into Aaron's decision or my opinion on it here, because I already did that in the last video. And I just want to say it's not my intention to try and change anybody's minds about how they feel about Aaron and what he did. Like, if you agree with him, that's fine. And to some extent, like, I get why he did it. I mean, Aaron is definitely the villain. He's definitely the antagonist. And that's okay, because you know what? Villains are way more interesting than heroes. But, like, that's why Aaron is such an amazing character, because it's this whole, like, sympathy for the devil theme. Like, you kind of can't help but feel for Aaron. And, like, in general, I think most people would agree that wiping out 80% of the planet is not okay. But I also think that most of us can agree that, protecting ourselves and our loved ones is, like, the biggest priority for anyone. So, again, it's complicated. There's a lot of nuance in this story, but that's why I love it so much. But anyway, I put up a poll in my community tab. I've talked about this numerous times throughout my reviews on the manga, about the Trolley Experiment, or the Trolley Problem, which, in case you don't know what that is, it's basically like, it's an experiment to kind of see what people would do in a really difficult situation. I think another word for it is a deontological dilemma. So, and if you look that up on Google, one of the results it comes up with is it's from study.com, and the question says, what is an example of deontological ethics? It says, deontology states that an act that is not good morally can lead to something good, such as shooting the intruder, and then it says in parentheses, killing is wrong, to protect your family. In parentheses it says, protecting them is right. In our example, that means protecting your family is the rational thing to do, even if it's not the morally best thing to do. And that's, you know, exactly what's happening here with Aaron. Morally, it's wrong to kill so many people, but, you know, you want to protect your loved ones, even if you are doing a morally wrong thing. Now, that said, I just feel like, I don't blame Aaron, like I said, but what he did was so extreme. I just feel like it didn't have to be, I just feel like he didn't have to go that far. Like, I get killing people to protect your loved ones. I get that. But did he have to kill so many? I don't know. Anyway. The trolley problem goes like this. So, imagine there's a runaway train on a train track, and there's a fork in the track, and on one side there is one worker on the track, on the other side there's 5. Now, as it is now, the direction the train is set to turn is towards the 5 workers, which means that the 5 workers are in imminent danger. They're about to die. There's no way that you can warn them. You're too far away, but you are close enough to a lever that you can switch. You can turn this lever to make the train go towards the track that has only 1 person on it. So, and from what I've seen and read at least, it seems like when they've done studies on this kind of dilemma, most of the people are actually willing to pull the lever in order to save more people, even though it means that pulling the lever, that action would result in 1 person's death. Now, you can also argue that you could be equally as responsible when it comes to inaction, which I think is an interesting component to all this. And it seems that most people kind of come to the conclusion that it's better to physically cause 1 person's death than do nothing and pretty much cause the death of 5 people when you were capable of saving them. Which makes sense. From a morality point of view, you kill 1 person to save 5 others. So you're saving more lives than would have been lost if you did nothing. But in my poll, I kind of switched it up a bit. I haven't seen any actual studies be done on this specific scenario. So maybe it's been done. I haven't seen it before, so I don't know how people would act in this particular situation. So I was curious and I decided to do a poll to see what you guys think. And so in this scenario, it's pretty much the same, but instead of the train going towards the 5 people, it's going towards the 1 person. However, in the original scenario, it was kind of presumed that everybody on this trek are strangers to you. But in this scenario, the 1 person that's in danger is someone that you care about. This is one of your loved ones. So you have the choice to either allow the train to kill this 1 person, this person you care about, in order to save these 5 strangers, which technically would be the moral thing to do. However, you care about this person. This is personal to you now. So the poll asks, would you choose to pull the lever and kill the 5 strangers in order to save the person that you care about? And the vast majority of people voted that they would pull the lever to save their loved one. Now obviously I don't have a lot of viewers, so only 12 people voted. So not a huge pool to derive conclusions from. It's just an interesting thing to think about. I just find these kind of dilemmas to be really fascinating, and just human nature, human morality, the way that we can kind of shift based on our positions on things. So, and if you want to vote, poll's still open, so be interesting to see what more people have to say about that. But anyway, let's continue. So, in this same scene, when Aaron and Zeke are seeing Aaron, this moment when Aaron kills these 2 men, Aaron says, "If someone is trying to steal my freedom, I'll steal their freedom first." Which again, really speaks to the kind of person Aaron is. He is not willing to compromise. He is not willing to take risks. He is not willing to give anyone that he sees as a threat a chance to harm him or the people he cares about, or just innocent people for that matter. Innocent people that he feels like he has a responsibility to protect. So, and I think it's interesting, the notion that Aaron, he didn't become this way because of the circumstances that happened to him. He's always had this in him, but the things that happened led him to this point. Led him to do the things that he did, while somebody else who might be in his shoes may not have made the same decisions. And then of course, we have that moment where we see him as his younger child self giving Mikasa the scarf. And I think this moment, it goes by pretty quick, but it's definitely there to kind of solidify why Aaron is doing this. Because we find out, of course, later that he really does love Mikasa, and Mikasa is one of the reasons he's fighting. And seeing this memory probably just solidifies that for him, just because of how much she means to him. So let's fast forward a little bit to the scene in the cave. And Freda says something interesting here. She says, when it comes to power, people are weak. So that's why the power of the Titans can't be in people's hands, because if it falls into the wrong hands, someone who is weak, as she puts it, then it can be used to do something really bad. Now, based on this dialogue, if we equate this to Eren, then what does that mean? Does that mean Eren does what he does because he's weak? In some ways, I don't think Freda is wrong. That if there's too much power concentrated in one person's hands, it's true, it can be very dangerous. Just for one single person to have the choice to potentially kill so many people, absolutely. Like, that's extremely dangerous. And yeah, people are gonna get mad at me for this, and that's okay. But in some ways, yeah, I think Eren is kind of weak. Because I generally believe that people who resort to violence, who resort to hurting others to get what they want, that is not strength, that is weakness. Because true strength is being able to hold your ground while trying to do what is best for everyone, not just yourself, you know? I mean, that's kind of why I love Armin. I think Armin, despite the fact that he constantly believes himself to be weak, he constantly believes himself to be useless, until later in the story, when Armin sacrifices himself so Eren can kill Bertolt. Like, that took a lot of strength, that took a lot of courage, and as Eren even says, Armin, you were the bravest of us all. He literally says that. And in a lot of ways, I think Armin is a very strong character. Maybe not the strongest, but he has a lot of intellectual strength, he has a lot of emotional strength, he has self-control. I think if Armin had the power of the Founding Titan, he would have definitely found a better way to do this. But yeah, I think that Eren's inability to see more than one outcome, his inability to be patient, to try to wait and see if there was a different way to protect Paradis. Yeah, I think that's a weakness. But Freda was definitely right when she said if the power of the Titans fall into the wrong hands, the world will become hell. And Eren definitely predicted the future there. The world became a living hell under Eren's use of the Founding Titan. Can't really argue with that, I don't think. So then there's a moment when Grisha is telling Freda that the Attack Titan doesn't answer to anyone. It's always moving forward. It's here to kind of keep the king in check, I guess. Which, seeing as this, I think, is the first time the Attack Titan has been on the island, is when Grisha came to the island. So I don't know if it's talking about this king specifically or kings in the past. I'm assuming it means kings in the past. Which, if that's true, then I don't think the Attack Titan did a very good job, because I guess the past kings were did a lot of bad shit, but that the Attack Titan wasn't able to prevent. And then Grisha says something like everybody is led by memories. You know, I think he's just talking about how memories kind of make who we are. It kind of drives our decisions, things that have happened to us. But, you know, in the case of the Attack Titan, and other Titans to a lesser extent, but especially Attack Titan, because the Attack Titan can look into the memories of future inheritors. All these memories are what's really driving Eren. Our memories are kind of what make us who we are, you know, so aside from what we are born as, which we're all kind of a combination of nature and nurture, so, and Eren, his nature and nurture just hit all the wrong points. And so then he talks about how the Attack Titan can glimpse into the memories of future inheritors. So I think glimpse is an important word here, because the word glimpse kind of suggests that they can't see all the memories. And as we can see from Zeke and Eren's interaction with Grisha's memories, it definitely takes a lot of time to go through all this stuff, as Eren says that they've been there for years. But this is also kind of a really unique scenario, having Eren and Zeke together like this. This is not something that would typically happen with a Titan Shifter on their own. But again, anytime Eren comes in contact with someone who is of royal blood, he gets these memories, just like he did when he touched Historia's hand. And of course we see that when he touched her hand, he got all of these memories. He saw the future. He saw all of these things that were going to happen. And like I said before, we don't know exactly what he saw, how much he saw, but he definitely saw enough to convince him that this was the only way. When Grisha is talking about the memories of Eren's that he saw, when he's begging Zeke to stop Eren, and he tells him it's all gonna go his way, but then he asks Zeke to stop him somehow. I definitely get the feeling that Grisha saw what Eren was gonna do. He knows he's gonna use the rumbling. He knows what's going to happen. He's determined to save Paradis. The thing is, what I think is that it was inevitable that Eren was going to go down this path. That we definitely knew was going to happen. Did he have to go down this path? I definitely think Eren could have done things differently, but would he have? We may never know. So that's where I kind of think things are set in stone. It's just the inevitability of Eren's character, of Eren, under these circumstances, doing what he did. I'd really like to believe that there could have been another way. I really believe that Eren could have protected Paradis without going this far, that something else could have been done, and that he made a mistake. And that maybe that makes Eren weak for not being able to see things outside of his own perspective. But maybe this was the only way to save Paradis. Again, I just hesitate to say that because it is the wiping out of 80% of the world. That's not okay. And I really don't think that Isayama as a writer is trying to put the message out there that that is okay. That is at all a solution. Before I wrap this up, let's just talk really quick about this whole, like, Eren and Zeke interacting with Grisha in his memory sort of thing. Eren influencing Grisha from the future. What is going on here? One thing that's interesting is a little bit later, we'll see Eren tell Zeke that he could not have influenced Grisha in the way that he did if Zeke hadn't brought him into Grisha's memories. So in a way, Zeke kind of sabotaged himself by doing this. And I think it's also suggested that Eren saw this, that Eren knew that Zeke was going to take him into Grisha's memories, that Eren maybe even saw himself influencing Grisha when he got these future visions after he touched Historia's hand, that he knew this is what he was going to do. And in a sense, kind of becoming the orchestrator of this whole thing. And I remember there was that scene when it kind of suggested, so I'm not really sure what happened in this scene either. It was kind of showing, I think, that Eren was kind of directing Dinah to go eat his mom as another way of kind of putting all this into motion, because Dinah passes Bertolt, which she should have been, just making a beeline to him, because Titans, the whole reason they eat people is to try to find a Titan shifter, so they can become a shifter and turn back into a human and stuff like that. So it's really, it gets really confusing, because no real explanation is ever really given, if I remember correctly, for why this is happening, how Eren is able to do this, especially with like the whole Dinah thing. Like, I'm assuming it has something to do with, like Eren said, Zeke bringing him into the paths. This has to be kind of where it all became possible, because Eren having access to the paths, and considering that he has the attack titan, he's able to travel kind of through time and space in a sense, and having access to the coordinate and the paths must have given him the ability to influence not only his father, but influence Dinah, maybe even influence Kruger. Yeah, I feel like that feels like the best explanation, is that Zeke giving Eren access to the paths just basically made him a god. Which, yeah, it pretty much did. So, and that really begs the question too. Eren seeing the future, Eren seeing that this was going to happen. What's interesting is, it never really says that Eren saw the Marley coming to attack Paradis, He never saw the Marley wiping out Paradis. Now correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I just forgot, but it never suggests that Eren saw this inevitable future where Marley was going to wipe out Paradis and they would all be dead. It's just the threat, the overarching threat of the possibility of Marley coming to attack them. That guy in the courtroom who says he'll never, they'll never be able to trust Eldians, they'll never work with Eldians, Willie declaring war, and just all these things that we don't know it were ever gonna actually happen. Because it says that actually there's no way Eren could have even known that Marley was going to attack Paradis in the future. Because it literally says that the only memories that the Attack Titan can actually access are the memories of its future inheritors or its past inheritors. So Eren only has access to Grisha's memories, Kruger's memories, anybody before that. He doesn't have access to anyone who is going to inherit the Attack Titan in the future, because nobody does, in fact, inherit the Attack Titan in the future, because he dies and the Titans are eliminated while he is in possession of the Attack Titan. And if you take that into account, if there's no one who inherits the Attack Titan after Eren, then, well shit, then it has to be inevitable. I may have just proved myself wrong right there. If Eren can't access future memories from future Attack Titan holders, and there would never be an inheritor of the Attack Titan, then it had to end with him. There's no way anything could have happened any differently. Wow. Okay. Well, that just went... that whole string of reasoning went in a direction I wasn't expecting, but, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a dummy making YouTube videos, but anyway, that's something I'm going to be thinking about for the rest of the night, so interesting. Really, really interesting. Eren couldn't see the future memories of any Attack Titans that come after him because there never was one. There's never going to be one. There's never a chance for there to be one, apparently. So, I guess what I have to conclude with that line of reasoning is that this is a fixed destiny. That Eren is just following his fate. That there could have been no other conclusion. There could have been no other ending to this story. There could have been no way this could have been prevented, so... okay. Well, that's something. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. I'm just rolling with the logic, I guess. Yeah. So those are my thoughts. That's what I think. I love discussing this story. I think that it has so much complexity and nuance and just interesting things to think about. And I love hearing everybody else's perspective on it. So, definitely let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, and let me know why. I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe if you want to see more, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any. And I'm gonna go pick up all the pieces of my mind that have just been blown and have some, eat some cookies or something, because I need comfort food now. Anyway, thank you guys again so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you who come to watch these videos. You guys are amazing, even though there's just like a handful of you. I love all of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking around. If you're a long-time subscriber, thank you for coming to my channel and checking out my content if you're new. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope to see you back for next week's video. Thanks again, guys. Peace.